Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toys Escapades channel in Malaysia. Just a quick update here. Mattel CreationS is apparently having a clearance sale on all of their failed exclusives over the last couple of months. In fact, years in some of the cases here, like I'm seeing here, okay? Did anybody actually even pick up this Vicron set? Okay, all of this stuff is apparently on clearance right now. And what's shocking here to me personally, what's still shocking is the fact that the Nightstalker is still hanging around the website after something like about half a year. Okay, this is definitely a situation where I backed the losing horse because I paid something like, a bomb in freight forwarding fees to have this thing shipped all the way here to Malaysia. I should have just waited, man. How did I know that this thing wouldn't sell and that they would just discount it down for something like 20%? And the Nightstalker is like the only thing here in this entire clearance list that actually captures the gist of what Origins is supposed to be. It's an OG character from the vintage line, but somehow, even then, okay, he couldn't sell out. Most of what's here is in fact just stuff from Masterverse. I don't really collect Masterverse anymore, but I am surprised to see something like the oversized Hot Trooper still hanging around and now being discounted. Okay, this was a figure that I felt that, look, honestly, it had a lot of cues to the classic vintage look of the character, even though it's a new Eternia thing, but it still had that really classic feel to it. And I know that Masterverse figures almost never sell out on Mattel CreationS, but I thought that maybe this figure would break that trend. But looks like it didn't. Okay, it's still the same thing. And you know what, guys? Okay, everybody that bought it at 33 bucks, okay, next time, look, in the future, I think that if there's ever any more Masterverse stuff that's coming out as a CreationS exclusive, just wait, okay, because you know that they're going to put this stuff on clearance in maybe about 6 months to a year. And of course, we have Geldor here. Now, Geldor here was a situation where the figure itself looked really bland, even though something like that would never stop MOTU Origins fans back in the day. But something like about 5 years down the road, a lot of people are just hitting the pause button on figures that don't really do too much for them. And in the case of Geldor here, he did have a connection to the vintage timeline because he did appear in a classic mini comic story. He was never produced as an action figure. In any other situation, it would seem like this figure will be an instant sellout. Okay, but however, that's not the case. He's still available, and now he's available on clearance as well. Okay, so a really interesting situation, although that clearance amount there isn't really that much. So in all likelihood, he might still be available on the website in 2026. Now, we have this He-Man figure here, right? This is one of the newer He-Man figures. Now, this particular He-Man is not an exclusive. He was available at retail, depending on which country you were in and which particular distributor or supplier was carrying it. But yes, he was available at retail for some people. Okay, but the interesting thing about this figure is that he's a key variant. So normally I would not expect to see something like this on clearance. But then again, this is also the one He-Man figure that has the worst ever facial expression sculpts ever seen on a He-Man figure. And this is in the Masterverse line, which is supposed to have a more premium level of detailing. But somehow, when it came to this particular sculpt, it just seems like nobody cared, right? Now, the one set here, okay, that I'm actually really surprised to still see, because this is something that hails all the way back from 2022. Okay, it's probably like the longest set that's still being listed for sale on Mattel CreationS. This thing is the 40th anniversary He-Man 4-pack, the one that originally went out for 150 bucks. Now it's sliced down to 105. Okay, is this the lowest that it's ever been? Because I know that this thing has been put on clearance before, but I'm not really sure if it was ever at this level. Okay, but yes, 105, a steal deal compared to the 150 that people paid for it 3 years ago. Anyway, guys, okay, all this stuff is on clearance right now. And, apparently you don't need to be a Club Grayskull member to enjoy these benefits. But if you are a member, it seems that you get something like an additional 5% off, all right? But yes, these are a bunch of He-Man figures that you don't need to be a member to purchase. Unlike the exclusive Hero figure that was just put up something like about 2 weeks ago, that one did require you to be a member of Club Grayskull first before you could purchase him. But the surprising thing to me is that the Hero figure is still hanging around here. Okay, something like about 2 weeks later. He's an unproduced figure from the vintage line. Finally, he's being produced officially by Mattel with a chromium body and all that stuff. You'd think that he would have maybe sold out by now. But no, okay, he's still there. And maybe it's also an indication that there's not that many people that have actually signed up as Club Grayskull members. Well, anyway, guys, this is the current promotion that they have going on Mattel CreationS. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you're planning to get any of these figures on these discounted rates. Let me know, and I'll talk to you guys again real soon. Take care out there.